early, but we'll manage. Let's see. Twitch seems to be live. Yes. Is it? YouTube is live. Twitch is not loading for me. Let's see. Hello and Merry Christmas again. Hello, Marte. Good evening. Hey, Luke. Good evening. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you had a nice Christmas Eve. I had a nice Christmas Eve. It was nice catching up with my stepmom. We visited with the kids and yeah, they had a great time. We had homemade goulash that she really cooks well. I always like that. And we played lots of games. So it was a nice family holiday kind of evening. It's getting a bit late, 20 to 10 here in the evening. But yeah, I checked if there would be any people who wanted to see me stream today. And Luke and Amate both said, hey, yeah, I'll watch. So here I am. So I guess we'll do day 24 of Advent of Code. So yeah, I changed a little bit of the code for yesterday, like the day 7 of 2016. I used to do this, like do a skip and then take, but that wasn't really very efficient. So I was like, actually you want to have like a sliding window kind of thing. So I made a quick window class that lets you just specify what the data type is. And you initialize it with the window size in data, and then you just have a current. You have up to 8 properties just easily to get it. And there's a check if any of the data points has a certain value. There's an index of where it gives you relative to the current index that it's looking at in the window. So that was a bit tricky. And then add value that just slides it off, that pops off the current value and then moves the pointer along. So that was fun. I quickly just rewrote that. The only thing is that you get this awkward start where I just pop in a 0 character because you want to have a loop where you read it in. So it's not the greatest start, so I still think that there might be a more elegant way to do it, but this worked, and it was like 2 or 3 times faster than what I did in the other code. Also, instead of having this thing where you have the index and then offset it, I just had like first index off to check if it's in the current thing, and if it matches, then you have to consume them. So I used to do this and then it would break, but yeah. So I have a windowed function now, and though this reads less nice, like for item 1 to item 3, I had like the A is C and B are not equal to A not equal to B. I liked this notation better, but yeah, it's fine. So yeah, I think we're all caught up there, and I think we should read day 24. I heard people say that it was fairly easy, the part 1, and that part 2 was very complicated. So that's all I know, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, let's see. Day 24, crossed wires. You and the historians arrive at the edge of a large grove somewhere in the jungle. After the last incident, the elves installed a small device that monitors the fruit. While the historians search the grove, one of them asks if you can take a look at the monitoring device. Apparently, it's been malfunctioning recently. The device seems to be trying to produce a number through some Boolean logic gates. Each gate has 2 inputs and 1 output. The gates all operate on values that are either true or false. AND gates output 1 if both inputs are 1. If either input is 0, these gates output 0. OR gates output 1 if either 1 or both inputs is 1. 0, if both outputs are 0, these gates output 0. XOR gates output 1 if the inputs are different. If the inputs are the same, these gates output 0. Amate says, I heard the same. And Luke says, I experienced the same. Did you finish part 2, Amate? Did you find it hard, or was it like when I read this, I recall back a few years ago when somebody actually made, like, in Unity, a visualization of all those gates. Um, and I don't remember the trick to that, because there was a trick to reverse engineering that whole thing, and he visualized it in a 3D engine that you could see everything happening. So that was cool. So if it's something like that, I'll probably won't be able to do part 2. But let's. I'm also a few years wiser now, so maybe I'll know what to do this time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and first clear part 1, if we can do that. Amata says, it was interesting. I'll show you what I did after you've done with part 1. Okay, sounds good. So yeah, we have gates. Gates wait until both inputs are received before producing output. Wires can carry 0, 1 or no value at all. Okay. There are no loops. Once a gate has determined its output, so this whole thing, like 0, 1 or null basically, and it says that a gate only works when both inputs are received. So this will be asynchronous blocking stuff probably. There are no loops. Once a gate has determined its output, the output will not change until the whole system is reset. Each wire is connected to at most one gate output, but can be connected to many gate inputs. Okay. Rather than risk getting shocked while tinkering with the live system, you write down all the gates, connections, and initial wire values, your puzzle input, so you can consider them relatively safely. For example, okay. So these are X numbers and Y numbers. Is this a coordinate system? Because the gates wait for input, some wires need to start with a value as inputs to the entire system. The first section specifies these values. For example, x00 colon 1 means that the wire named x00 starts with the value 1, as if a gate is already outputting that value onto the wire. Smap says, just popped in to say have fun. I came down with a bug after my hospital visit, so not trying any of the puzzles. I hope you feel well soon, Smap, and very nice of you to come in and say hi. It's appreciated. So get well, get some rest, and I hope you'll be better soon. Still hope you have a nice few days, even though you're not feeling well. Bye-bye. The second section lists all of the gates and the wires connected to them. For example, x00 and y00 arrow z00 describes an instance of an AND gate which has wires x and y connected to its inputs and which will write its output to wire z00. Okay. I'll be doing some more Advent of Code after the 25th, so I'm sure we'll see each other again. Maybe I thought about like doing a reset because I can't remember most of the stuff that I did, to like create a new account and just go from 15 again and then see if I can pull it off. But yeah, we'll see. Boom, 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 boom. In this example, simulating these gates eventually causes 0 to appear on wire Z0, Z00, 0 to appear on wire Z01, and 1 to appear on wire Z02. 6 weeks trying to solve day 21. Yeah, I'll have some time to try day 21 indeed. I have some. I'm fairly close, and I think I can do it. But I'm just not looking forward to rewriting everything that I've done. I still need to formally convert, like adding a directional pad. I now just have 2 literal code blocks that needs to be refactored because it's all the same logic. I just need to be able to chain those. And then there's the path finding that needs to branch, and I don't have that yet because I have everything pre-calculated, but that isn't enough. So yeah, for example, yeah, that. Ultimately, the system is trying to produce a number by combining the bits on all wires starting with Z0. With Z. Z is the least significant bit, then Z1, then Z2, and so on. In this example, the three output bits form the binary number 100, which is equal to the decimal number 4. Here's a larger example. Okay. After waiting for values on all wires starting with Z, the wires in the system have the following values. Like this. Yep. So there are more Z's here. Combining the bits from all wires starting with Z produces the binary number, this converting to the decimal. Okay. Simulating the system of gates and wires. What decimal number does it output on the wire starting with Z? Okay. So there's some fun stuff there. Let's do it. Do I even need to try this example? I don't think so. I think this will be the example that I try, just because it makes more sense. Let's see. Let's build day 24. Hi G, good evening and Merry Christmas to you as well. Welcome. I didn't expect so many people to still show up today, but it's nice to have you all here. And now I'm immediately trying to remember what I called the function to split these into two parts. Which is silly, I know. But yeah, let's see. Input to input parts. Yes. So we have as value tuple. So this splits it into like two things. These are the wires and these are the gates and wire connections. Let's see. So we have a dictionary of string followed by a bool, which is nullable, wires. I can just leave it here and move it up after it's done. So this would be this. I can do parse dot wires dot two lines, and then I can do a select x split by like this as value tuple, and then I can do to dictionary x dot item 1 x item 2, and this will be parse, just an int dot parse like this. For wires is this. Yeah, not var, just wires. Oh yeah, and this is just zeros and whoa. Okay, I thought, where was all my, yeah, actually, this needs to be x dot item 2 equals 1, like this. Like this. So we have a nullable, because we said there can be wires that don't have a value at a certain point. These all initialize with a value, but that's fine. Const char wire on. G says, which reminds me I should probably follow you even if it's already day 24. Always welcome. Actually, you're subbed. I think Thanks for the follow. You were gifted one by Nineberry, I think, right? Yeah. So welcome. Let's see. Wire on is 1. Wire off 0. Boom, 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 boom. That. Gum flavored rice says the programmer is programming a program. Then who programmed the programmer? I programmed myself. I'm self-taught. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Basically, how do we do these gates? Also, welcome to the chat. So we have a wire, a gate, a wire, and a AND location. So we can just turn this into a list of string wire A. Enum gate. Yeah, I can make a record out of it. And or XOR. I'll make a record out of it. Record gate info. String wire A. Gate, string wire B, bool output. Like this. The only issue with that is that it won't let me. Records are like immutable kind of thing. Amata says, "Huh, I just finished P2." Let me just put some stars in chat. Congrats. I take my virtual hat off today. Feels like Amate has something to teach us after the stream. So the thing why I asked this is because actually I don't have to put the output here. We just have to have the config here because we have the dictionary for the actual state that we can modify there, which is fine. With code should be good for any input. Cool. So I could also have like a bool process gate info G. And then I should have like this dictionary here. Like this. So we do result. If wires try get value G wire A out var A. Actually, if not, we do return null. Wire B like this, because if they are not both supplied, they should be null, or a has value. So the wires don't have any value until until they're in the dictionary and have been assigned a true or false value. Otherwise, it will return null. So if we're here, yeah, I'm not going to look at it. So we do gate dot g dot gate switch gate dot and a dot value and b dot value. AND gate is if they both, yeah. Gate dot or a dot value or b dot value, basically. Why am I doing this? Let's see, XOR, if the inputs are different, sure, yeah. Oops. Like this. This. Let me think. So basically we have our initial values here. Then we need to still parse the second part. So we need to do parse that gates to lines. Dot select x dot split like this, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can do as value 2 for 5, but we only want 1, 2, 3, and 5. We don't care about the arrow. Maybe I should have a parse function in this gate record here. So I can make a static parse gate info parse string raw. Oh. Like this. And now we can do return gate. This will be data item 1. This will be switch data item 1 switch. Name of gate dot and gate dot and. Gate dot or name of gate dot XOR still need to do the default there, but it will be wire A, gate, wire B, data item 3, and then I still need to also have the output wire here. So we do output is data item 5 like this. Let's see. It doesn't catch the default case that I should probably handle. Let me see. That is fine. I need to make it all public, or at least accessible, but we can make them public. Is that the issue? Gate is less accessible than method get info. Do I need to call these public here? No, this one. Yep. Okay. So we have dot parse x. We want this as a list. This. Let's put it here, up here. So that takes care of the parsing. Now we probably need to process all of the gates until there's either no new update or everything has been assigned its value. Bool again is true, while again for each. I can actually do a parallel for each probably, but var gate in gates. So if not wires try get value gate output wire or var no out var val. I don't have to be original here, or val that has value. Try to process. Val is, come on, val is process gate, gate. If val that has value, wires that add gate output wire val. Again is true. Like this. I think that is actually the full logic already. And then for I is let's see. I assume there are no gaps in the Z ones, but that would be very naughty of them. But we'll see. Var output is wires where x of key 0 equals Z. Let's see. Let's put that into a nice constant. Output wire identifier is Z, lowercase z, right? I think so, yeah. So let's take all the wires marked Z, order this. I'll just do it to list. So we do for int I is 0, I smaller than output that counts like this. And then we do p1, actually if output I value p1 plus equals 1 shifted over I. I think that should be it, and for this one it should be 2024, right? 2024 would be the test value for part 1. Let's see, program needs to be 2024. Let's run this. G does not exist in the current, okay. Why does it run? Because it's a different day. Let's set this as a starter project. This is just gate. No, okay, let's see. Data.item 2. This. .404. I didn't set the base day apparently. Rookie mistake, let's see. Yep, I forgot that. Bad request, so this is the expired. I set it to release, let's set it to debug. That one does have the right session key. An item with the same key has already been added. Oh yeah, it can supply multiple, yes. Wait, no. That's not good. Whoa, what? Why do I have this crossed? This should be item 1 and this should be item 2. What a mistake. Okay. Isn't the string I comparable? Okay, it's fine. Order by. I forgot that it's not, it's a key value pair, so that's on me. Okay, and it worked, so if we discount all of the stupid stuff, at least the logic worked in one go. So let's see what the real input has in store for us. Answer is too low. Okay, that's interesting. Did not expect that. I expect it to work right away. So what's wrong here? Do they have skipped names in the Z1 things. Let's see, Z0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. That's interesting. How can this be wrong? "45. My answer has 45 bits. 46. Let's see the input. There is no Z46, so I have all 45 bits. Might that be the issue? Yep, I'm an idiot. And I thought that would be fixed with my under-over thing. Woohoo! Gold star. Okay. That's stupid because I actually have this explicitly in my let's see, edit project file. I have checked for over and underflow, but apparently bit shifting does not matter in that regard, which is annoying. So, yeah, but bit shifting doesn't overflow. Well, yeah, true. Okay, I'm just being an idiot. My bad. Make sure to use longs or you'll get an answer that's too low. Okay. Okay, let's see what part 2 has. So this was fairly easy and for me semi-quick. That first answer was so short I knew it was wrong. Yeah. Okay, let's see what part 2 has in store. After inspecting the monitoring device more closely, you determine that the system you're simulating is trying to add two binary numbers. Specifically, it is treating the bits on wire starting with X as one binary number, treating the bits on wire starting with Y as a second binary number, and then attempting to add these numbers together. The output of this operation is produced as a binary number on the wire starting with Z. In all three cases, wire 00 is the least significant bit, then 0 and so on. Okay, the initial values of the wire for the wires in your puzzle output represent just one instance of a pair of numbers that sum to the wrong value. Ultimately, any two binary numbers provided as input should be handled correctly. And that is, for any combination of bits of on wire starting with X and wire starting with Y, the sum of the two numbers those bits represent should be produced as a binary number on the wires starting with Z. For example, if you have an addition system with 4 X wires, 4 Y wires and 5 Z wires, you should be able to supply any 4-bit number on the X wires and any 4-bit number on the Y wires, and eventually find the sum of those two numbers as a 5-bit number on the Z wires. One of the many ways you could provide numbers to such a system would be to pass X on 11 on the X wires and 13 on the Y wires in binary. If the system were working correctly, then after all gates are finished processing, you should find 24, 11 plus 13 on the Z wire, as the 5-bit binary number of that. Sure. Unfortunately, your actual system needs to add numbers to many more bits and therefore has many more wires. Based on forensic analysis of scuff marks and scratches on the devices, you can tell that there are exactly 4 pairs of gates whose output wires have been swapped. A gate can only be in at most one such pair. No gate's output was swapped multiple times. Okay, I'm reading this and I have no clue what I'm reading, so I hope it all comes together in the end. For example, the system below is supposed to find the bitwise AND of the 6-bit number on x00 through x05 and the 6-bit number on y00 to y05, and then write the result as a 6-bit number on the z through z00 through z05. Okay. However, in this example, 2 pairs of gates had their output wires swapped, causing the system to produce wrong answers. The first pair of gates with swapped outputs is this and that. Okay, the second pair. Correcting these 2 swaps result in the system that works as intended for any set of initial values on the wires that start with that. Okay, sure. Yeah. In this example, 2 wires of gates have outputs that are involved in a swap. By sorting the output wires names and joining them with commas, the list of wires involved in swaps are Z0, Z1, Z2, Z5. Okay, yeah, okay. Of course, your actual system is much more complex than this, and the gates that need their output swapped could be anywhere, not just attached to a wire starting with Z. If you were to determine that you need to swap output wires A with E, O with Z99, etc., your answer would be those wires. Okay. Your system of gates and wires has 4 pairs of gates which need their output wires swapped. 8 wires in total. Determine which 4 pairs of gates need their output swapped so that your system correctly performs addition. What do you get if you sort the names of the 8 wires involved with the okay. Phew. Luke says, I agree, annoying is that the example has nothing to do with the input and puzzle. The two took me several minutes to realize. Yeah. Okay, so basically we need to turn this thing into making sure it does an AND operation in the end. G says, I totally missed that example. Okay. I mean, I understood this one. Let's see, this thing. All right, if these are all the gates, it's clear. So now what I'm thinking is that you need to, for every output number, you need to see what are all the things that are involved. Then you should actually do the addition and check which ones are wrong. Like if you reproduce these, so step 1, print out x, z, x, y, and z to see what it should do. But you can't also know that. Could it also be that like parts of the inputs are wrong? Sheesh. Because it can be any 4 wires. let me think. Is it doable to just, like, my first intuition would be to just get the current values of X, Y, and Z, and then see which one doesn't line up, and then start to change either left or right. Or let's first just get a feel of what the current values are. Some people brute force it in that way. Yeah, I'm leaning that way, but it's not great. Long get value based on wire prefix, char wire prefix. Okay. This. X. So we have X and Z. So now part 1 becomes okay, that still works. So let's see. Long X is get value based on wire prefix. Input wire A. Actually, I can just do P1 here. Yeah. So let's see, we have, I didn't update this one. So I have a difference there, difference there. There are quite a few differences. And I wonder, okay. Let's try that. Nice. So now the question becomes, because it's like a whole chain effect. I think we should still like map every output bit in reverse to see which one it touches, because we can identify which ones are wrong. I should also just do like boom. Why do I have this twice here? Okay. I'm just stalling for time while I think of a solution. Let me see, can I do the reverse for every... I think I could use this like a reverse replace until you end up with let me think. I think there's only ever one output, right? Didn't they say that? Only ever one, so that you could have this as a key and then do a reverse replace. Let me think. String build dependency. String result is where. Dun, 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 dun. And then I can do do? How would you expand that? Because basically you have to split it every time, and then just you would nest the tree and keep nesting and nesting and nesting. What would be an efficient way? Because my idea would be like, let's say you have Z12 that becomes TGD RVG, which becomes like let's say that this then becomes like x00 and x, right? And then you keep expanding. Like something like that is my idea, to just get a feel for which wires are involved and how, so that you get one big Boolean statement in the end. And then you can actually see how many things would be impacted if you change one. But already thinking like, how do we efficiently expand these into tokens and then keep doing that recursive? Like a string isn't very useful for that. So I can use a list of string and then insert or replace every part with more, and then that becomes a list. It also needs to be it needs to be like a recursive data type, more like you have like a class expression. So you have string wire or it can be either a string or it can be like this. I don't remember, but that's fine. So you could have an expression be yeah, I'm just thinking like, what is a way that I could do like void expand, which then does a lookup, and then this will be like expression or just a list of expressions. No. Like, how do I build something that can be either a wire or something like this, but that every one of those can also be like a wire or a combination? So that would be like, so this would be an expression, etc. Like in C# you would have like in C++ you would have like an option that it's like either a string or another expression, something like that, right? You could have a type here, like enum. Yeah. Something like this. So you could have expression type. type. String. I called mine a tree like that. But even these can be expressions, so like yeah. I wonder if this... It seems like there should be an easier way, but I don't see it. So basically, if this would be a literal, I just fill in this one. Otherwise, we have these to go deeper. Exactly this problem I had while trying to solve this. Yeah, I can imagine. And you could probably just say like, it's always like node A, node B operator, and then when node B is... but you always have the thing like, okay, I have to be able to recurse, but also be a literal. So, and that's why it's, in C++ you can actually just define that like your that something can be of two types, and it just works. But for me to just visualize it, actually doing a stupid replace would also just work, because it's always 3 character identifiers. I can just do a string replace every time, but it feels yuck. So I could do, I should probably have like the inverse of the gates here as a dictionary. So I could do gates to dictionary to dictionary, output wire, and this becomes x dot wire A, x dot gates, x dot wire B. Alright, so you can have your var wire expand is this. My exam at 1233. Oh, C sharp, my lovely. Yes, and if you love C sharp, you'll like my emotes even more. Look at those beauties. Welcome, welcome. Ooh, and thanks for the follow. Always nice. Have you done Advent of Code, by the way? My Zamet? I'm doing day 24, part 2. Let me just share a link to Advent of Code if you're not familiar. If you are, please tell me how your day went. Yep, but I'm new. New with Advent of Code, or did you just start? You can also go back and do previous years as well. Let's see. Mizard X, if only there was discriminated unions in C#. Let's see. For type unions, okay. When developing something, the values want to store in a variable, not always the same kind of each time. That yes, exactly. That's what I was talking about. So you could use an array list, right? Takes me back to C# 1.0 or 2.0. I don't know. Did it launch with array list or did they add it in 2.0? Yeah, this is similar to what I mentioned for C++. That would be nice. Bro, give me a .NET video recommended if you know. Well, I have a large catalog on my, well, not that large, but I have some older videos of Advent of Code, like the early days. And I think in 2019 or 2020, I actually annotated and edited all the videos, so there's less fluff and it just highlights everything. I reason about what I do. If I don't say it out loud, I put like text on screen to explain what I'm going through. So I think those videos might be useful to you if you're just starting out, but there are so many resources on YouTube. If you just look for something, they're probably way better videos than the ones that I've made. But if you're a starting programmer, I can highly recommend Advent of Code. And what you should probably do is just go for each year and just do the first day first. Just read part 1. In this case, it takes 2 lists and they ask you to order them and then compare the differences. So these are basic input-output tasks that usually any programmer that's starting out should be able to do. Thanks for the follow, for Loop and Bash. Welcome, welcome. So if you're new to programming, Advent of Code is actually a great way to get started. But because the early day problems are really easy, well, when you're starting out, everything is hard, so don't let that persuade you. But they're a great way to get started, and you have the benefit of a great Reddit community. So you can go to reddit.com/r/adventofcode, and for every day, I won't click here, but for every day there's a solution thread in various sets of languages. So if you get stuck, don't know how to do something, you can either make a post to ask, here's what I'm doing, here's why I'm stuck, can somebody help me? And a lot of people will actually help you, even when it's not Advent of Code time. But you can also just, if you hit a roadblock, you can just go there, read to what other people did in various languages, see what their reasoning was, how they solve stuff, and learn from that. So it's really a great community and a great way to learn any kind of programming, I'd say. For Loop and Bash says, hello, I might do it for the first time to learn a new language. Yeah, that's great. Lots of people do this. There are actually crazy people that do a different language for each day. I saw somebody yesterday that did that, which is pretty impressive. I just like programming and I do it in a language that I'm comfortable with. I don't have a desire currently to learn other languages. I program in some other languages when need be, but I just prefer C# myself. But lots of people take Advent of Code as a way to learn a new language. So yeah. Someone asked what you write now. I'm writing C# right now, so I'm coding in C#. For Loop and Bash, I only know Python and a little bit of JavaScript, so yeah, I miss a lot from all of those. No, this is actually a programming competition. Well, puzzles mostly. And they just give you a story-driven quest that comes in 2 parts. So they give you a long story and then they give you a task. And you solve that and input the answer. And it tests you to see if it's the correct answer. So it's not a program, it's just a console application. So basically it reads the input. I have a small helper here. So I have this helper here that lets me create a new file. I specify the day in the constructor here, and based off of that it will download the input off of the website. So that might be a bit advanced. You can also just copy paste it in. Like every day we'll have an input file here. Like you can see the format, the year, then day, then the number, and then /input. So my program automatically downloads this file for me so that I can start coding right away. Mr. S, just paste the answer on the website. You can use any tool you want to solve. Yes, that's correct. You can do anything. If you're familiar with JavaScript, you can also just do this and then just use the console to like document.body.text content. Like here is the entire input. You can just you can do it like this, and then you have 1001 entries, and then you can go from there. So you don't even need a programming environment. You can just use your developer console in your browser and do it that way. Lots of people do that, and you can write your own helper libraries, load them in. So you don't even need a real development environment. Basically, if you have a browser, you have all the tools you need to solve most of the advent of code problems. So yeah, but we were doing day 24 part 2, which is kind of tough, I have to say, and I was trying to create a little bit of visualization to see if I can find a way to solve this. So what I wanted to do, and if you're not familiar with the problem, basically they have a list of wires and then a list of gates, 3 types, and they determine how the values are changed on those wires to form an output number. And for part 2, they actually say, okay, there are 4 wires or 4 pairs of wires wrong. 4 pairs. So 8 wires need to be changed. So out of this input file, like this, 8 of these need to be in a different position. And if you know the amount of files, you know that it's, I don't know if it's feasible to brute force that, but it might be, I don't know. So my reasoning is now, because they say like the Z numbers in order produce your output number, is to first write something that lets you specify or work out which wires actually contribute to that output value. Let's see if there's some sort of isolation. Maybe from having that mapped out, we can see the actual relations and deduce something from that. So I was writing some code to do just that. So we have our, I killed that one. Let's see, I call it wire expand here. Lil Tomato says, can't you just chat GPT the answer in seconds and then drink coffee and get the ladies? Yeah. Lots of people actually did that. If you look at the leaderboard, if you go for day 1, there are people that solved it in 9 seconds. So yeah, both stars in 9 seconds. It's nearly impossible to read, write something, put it in. So I doubt this is, like, believe it or not, something like this is possible. Like 54 seconds, there are people that can actually scan the input and solve it in a matter of double-digit seconds. I've seen it before happen live. But there are lots of people that use ChatGPT to just cheese it, right? And the thing is, it might be a challenge in and of itself to do that, but it spoils the fun. Like for me, there was like a small gangster site that had, does that still work? Hey, Okay, this was basically a small gangster game that lets you uh, smuggle booze, do some crime, stuff like that. And that game was a lot of fun until I got injured and I had to stay on the couch for a few days because I couldn't walk. My knee was all messed up. So I laid on the couch with the laptop on my chest and then my mouse on a side table. And in that position, I played that game and it got me repetitive strain injury. So I couldn't use my arms at all for a while. Um, so then I got into botting that game. So I made something that would play the game for me because I couldn't physically. So after I recovered a bit, I couldn't sit behind the PCs for a long time. So I would code actually a bot to play the game for me. And after a while, that became more fun than playing the actual game because I wrote my own OCR engine to defeat CAPTCHA and stuff like that. So that was a really cool challenge for me, but it made the game no longer fun, and all the fun was in trying to beat their countermeasures, etc. So I can understand that for some people, automating advent of code and trying to beat it with ChatGPT can be a sport in and of itself. But there are people that really like the leaderboard and try to actually compete to get a top 100. And I think for them it's just not fair, right? I would have loved it if they had like an opt-in honor system where they're like, okay, I want to try to do this with automation, and then they can compete to see if they can prompt it in a smart enough way or semi-automated, and then have a separate leaderboard so that the people that actually are pretty skilled have a normal chance to compete against each other. But yeah. Luckily, there are private leaderboards for that, but you'd have to organize it, etc. So yeah, it's impressive that there is a an LLM that can do this, but it's not a lot of fun for the other people, right? But to each their own. I mean, I would probably be pissed if I was trying for a leaderboard and I see it just fill up with people that automate LLMs. But yeah. There's so little that you can do against it. Like the only true thing that I think that you could do is to record have like a requirement of recording it, live streaming it to an AOC server that captured it so that it can be validated. Because if you can submit it after the fact, you can also alter it. So, and even then, like with Sora and all other video tools, you could probably even fake that. So it's a lost battle, and yeah. I think private leaderboards is probably the way to go, so that you just compete with people that you know. It is what it is. It will always be a cat and mouse game, and the people trying to beat this will always have more motivation than the people trying to stop it in this case. So I don't think there's that much you can do. But luckily for lots and lots of people, over 100,000 people always compete. They have a lot of fun with this, right? So. Lightning, Luke says, hidden text in the description to shut down the PC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, first submit, I'm an asshole, or something like that. Yeah. But yeah. Where were we? Tangent, sorry. I was trying to do this. So my let's do bool again is true. While, and this will be highly inefficient, but it doesn't really matter there. For each string key in, how did I call it? I've talked so much that I even forgot how I named my wire expand. Wire expand keys. If result at index of because if we expand it, we also kind of like if I do this, at the end you lost some of the information like this and this. So you probably want to save, you could just save each iteration there. So you could do IEnumerable string. You could yield return wire, and then you could do result, and then each time you can do this. Yeah, something like that. I need to do checks if it has that key. And then we do result is result of replace key, comma, and then we do this. Actually, wire expand key. Let's see, Luke says you could also use a really visualization. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to see if this does what I want it to do. So just for fun, let's see, for each bar string in build dependency z0. Something like this, console, right line. Let me see, because that didn't do what I expected it to do. So we have a wire here. Oh yeah. Wait, no, that's cool. Let's see. I need to do again is false here. Never mind. Yeah, Amate caught it. So Z1 becomes this, okay. So now we can do it for each one of those. We can do for each wire in wires where 0 equals output wire identifier. Order by something like that. Now we do wire.key. So this should give us a map of all the output wires. Jesus Christ. Not sure what I was expecting, but Z45. So what you probably want to do is That's a lot. Oh, I also forgot to add brackets. Because that's important. Yeah. Yes and no. It's much better, but also, damn. Now add indentation and new lines. Jesus. Could also track each unique here to not just expand, but just what I could do is like hash set string wires involved. Damn. I could do. I should probably just do X here and then use this format. Something like this. And then we do gate info dot wire A, wire B. And wires involved, followed by, that would work. String dot join, something like this. Oh. What did I mess up? Ah, I don't consume it. That's the... That's a thing of lazy eval. Whoa. That's a lot. So now we know a lot, but still not, still not that much. Wait, Z8 has none? That's interesting. And Z19 only has a small set. Luke says, if you click my link, you get the idea how it looks visual. When you don't look too long, it won't be a spoiler. You can look, but not too long. Find it interesting that most of these are fairly complex. And then you have something like this here, where it's so easy. And Z8 when it's just like none. I wonder if there's like a few wires that only occur in a few positions there. Let me think. G says probably shouldn't. Luke says it's an addition machine. They should be all nearly identical. Only expanding from 0 to Z45. Yeah, but I think this is one of those things where I need to come back to it when I have more time and it's not already past 11 in the evening. Because I'm kind of tired. And I don't have a good idea of what to do next yet. I mean, I could brute force it, but I don't think that's feasible. And my assumption is that it's not just not just output mappings that are wrong, that it could also just be inputs that need to be swapped. So that means yeah. Yeah, I will go to bed in a bit. But like my reasoning for not knowing exactly your way is that to me these two aren't holy, and I apparently still don't have the right things there. Let me just change that because it bugs me. This needs to be B identifier. So I can just, if I go back to what I was doing before, if I can make the assumption that these two don't change and that you just have to make sure that these two get added to this, but it does this and how to fix it. That might be somewhat simple because you can just change things until things line up. And you can determine which ones have impact on which numbers, so you can deduce which ones you need to be able to change in order to affect that change there. So that's something that I thought about, but then I was like, if you change the output of any of the gates output wire, that might also be part of this, which means that you can't actually say these two need to produce this because the actual values of this might not be correct. And when that's the case, I get lost in my head. G said, for your information, I didn't find this problem very hard. It's just a bit of work. Yeah, I'm missing parts here. For me, it's like, in my head, it's like, okay, I can't really brute force all the combinations, but I could work towards a solution where changing something makes it line up. And I can deduce if I want to change Z1, where's Z0 actually? bit is a couple of hours. Yeah, okay. Couple of hours of work. Okay. The funny thing is actually that Z0 didn't have an output gate, so that one is already fixed. So that means that at least these two are correct. So you don't have to swap those. Same for Z8. You can also say that those are correct. So you can probably... Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna go for some rest, and because tomorrow is also Christmas, so I think I'll leave it at this for now. Luke says Z8 is in there twice. Ah. Does it feed itself? Is it just a new line? I will never know. I cleared the buffer. Okay, it might just be too unfortunate line breaking there. My bad. So that was probably because, and I added to itself, so that was probably because of unfortunate line breaking. Never mind. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at this. Mizet says each ZNN line has ZNN. Yeah, that's because I added it there. That was my doing, because that's part of the graph. G says, just in case I'm not here tomorrow, Merry Christmas to all of you. Yeah, same for me. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow because it's Christmas and we're having dinner with the family and it will be late. But I thought that for today as well. So I'm just happy that I still got to hang out with you guys a bit and hopefully entertain you for a little while. I'm sorry I didn't bring part 2 home yet, especially when I hear people that it's a lot of work. I don't think we'll feasibly be able to do that now, so I'll just... Luke says we'll survive without this stream, I hope. Yeah, I hope so too. I think we're gonna... let me turn off Spotify. And let's see if we can rate somebody who can solve part 2. So they have somebody to watch if you haven't fallen asleep yet. So yeah, let's find somebody to rate, spread the joy a bit, and then we'll see each other soon. In C.
Let's try with the full
Yes.
example.
So thanks everybody, and have a good Christmas, and hopefully see you soon. So let's go say hi, and then yeah. Did the rate trigger? It didn't. Rate this.
Probably not, honestly.
Yes, okay. It should rate now.
2024. Okay.
Merry Christmas and have a great holiday. Yeah, to everybody. Bye bye.
Beautiful. Big ass number. That's a little scary because that's awfully close to the maximum value of an integer. This makes me... Thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate it. This makes me feel a little bit afraid always that we might be exceeding the boundaries of a 32-bit integer. But let's try the answer anyway and see if it works. If not, I bet you it's just because it's not 6 bit, it overflows the 32-bit integer. Right, it's too low. Alright, so I bet you, right, so it ends with 141. If we change it to a 64-bit int, it probably will work fine. So let's do that. And then we'll have to